Look, if you're making good money but still feel broke, this isn't another lecture about budgeting harder. It's about having clear rules that actually make sense. We're going to measure everything in hours of your life instead of percentages or complicated spreadsheets. Because once you can answer one simple question, how many hours of work is this actually costing me? You can finally stop the financial bleeding. Here's the thing, most people don't struggle with money because they're irresponsible. They struggle because nobody ever gave them clear lines they're allowed to cross and lines they're not. So here are 25 rules that change all that. Number 5 used to trip me up until I got a handle on it. You get paid on a Friday and by Monday you're genuinely confused about where half of it went. That's not a discipline problem. That's just a missing plan. Within 24 hours of getting paid, every dollar needs a job assigned to it. Just put it into a category, even if it's just 4 simple buckets. Bills, food, debt, and whatever is left over is yours to spend as you want. Don't try to optimize everything yet. Just get it contained and organized first. A flat tire shouldn't go straight on a credit card, but that's exactly how people stay stuck in the debt cycle. Before you do anything, save 1 full week of take-home pay in cash, somewhere safe, like a savings account. And if you can't do that right now, just save 1 day of pay at a time until you get there. It adds up faster than you think. Even if just one bill wipes out half of your entire account the moment it hits, everything else becomes a scramble for the rest of the month. No single recurring bill should ever cost more than half of one paycheck. And if something does, you need to extend payment cycles, downgrade plans, cancel it, or temporarily stack due dates closer to payday so you're not constantly playing catch up. Most people with variable pay budget on the good month and then panic when hours get cut or tips are slow. And that's exactly how debt sneaks back into your door. Build your lifestyle around your lowest earning month instead and bank the extra from good months instead of spending it. Because those lean months will come back around. If you're still eating out regularly while the credit card balances are growing, you need to hear this. Interest is quietly eating away at your future 1 month at a time. When you're in debt, fun spending needs to stay way under 1 hour of pay per week. And if that feels impossible, start replacing paid entertainment with free versions. Home meals instead of restaurants, the library instead of bookstores or Audible, walks in the park instead of shopping trips at the mall, reading a book instead of browsing on Amazon. You're making monthly payments on things you barely remember buying. And those payments stack up until they're suffocating you. If something costs less than 1 week of pay, save up for it up front and pay cash. And if you can't, delay the purchase by 2 paychecks and see if you still want it. Delivery apps fill the gaps when you're exhausted after work. And then suddenly it becomes permanent and you're spending $40 a week without even thinking about it. Any convenience spending should stay under 2 hours of pay per week. So if you make $25 an hour, that's $50 a week. So just pre-plan 1 convenience meal per week if you need it that bad, and eliminate the rest by having basics readily available at home. You can make a sandwich at home for about $4 instead of having to buy one for $15. When every paycheck is already spent before it even arrives, there is no room left for life to happen. Your fixed bills should stay within 3 weeks of monthly pay. And if they don't, start reducing 1 fixed bill at a time, whether it's insurance, your phone plan, your streaming service, until you can actually have some breathing room. If rent day makes you anxious every single month, that's your intuition telling you something is wrong with the math. Housing should cost about 1 week of take-home pay per month. And if it's way over that, you need to seriously consider roommates, relocating to a different area, Or start planning your 12-month exit strategy to somewhere more sustainable and more affordable. If your take-home pay is $4,500 a month, there is no way you can spend $2,500 of that on an apartment and not be broke and not be house poor. Your car payment limits every other financial decision you can make, and then repairs come along and make everything even worse. Your total transportation costs, whether it's payment for the car, insurance, gas, maintenance, should stay under 1 day of pay per week total. And if you're over that, it's time to refinance, sell, or downshift to something more affordable. In fact, in my personal opinion, if you cannot afford to buy a brand new car in cash, you also shouldn't get one on a payment plan. Even if you can't afford a used car outright, it's still gonna save hundreds of dollars a month for you to get a used car financed instead of brand new one. You're paying for apps and subscriptions you completely forgot existed. And that's literally money leaking out of your account every month. Cancel any recurring charges that cost you more than 1 hour of pay per month. Or pause them if you're not sure you might need them again. Try that for 30 days and see if you even miss them. You grab food daily because meal planning feels exhausting when you're already overwhelmed. But it's adding up hundreds per month without you even realizing it. Weekly food spending should stay under 1 day of pay per week. And if you're nowhere close, just cook 2 staple meals on repeat each week. It doesn't have to be complicated or fancy or Instagram worthy. When one broken item becomes a full-blown crisis, that's exactly how people end up back in debt. If you can't replace something with one paycheck worth of savings, you shouldn't buy it in the first place. Or buy used, or delay the purchase until your savings catch up to the price tag. Savings technically exist somewhere, just not when you actually need them. And that delay costs you in fees, interest, or worse. Keep 1 week of pay accessible within 24 hours. For me, I just keep that in my checking account so I can always get to it. And if it's currently buried in your savings account, money market account, or CDs, God forbid, separate your emergency money into a no-touch checking account that you can access immediately. You finally get a raise and 6 months later you still feel broke. That's lifestyle creep eating the entire increase at once, or little by little. Instead, send half of every raise towards building stability for at least 1 year before you upgrade anything. And if half feels like way too much, at least increase your savings by 1 hour of pay per raise. Obviously, you lived without this money before, so there shouldn't be an urgent need for it now. You don't really feel how much things cost until you start counting them in hours of your life. Question any recurring expense that's over 1 hour of pay per month. And if you're not ready to cancel it yet, replace it with a cheaper version for 30 days and see if the downgrade actually matters or even noticeable. You miss payments when life gets busy and you're juggling too much. And then late fees and stress pile up on top of everything else. To avoid that, automate your essentials, whether it's rent, utilities, your minimum debt payments, your car payment. All of it combined should total about 2 weeks of pay per month. And if automating everything feels really scary, start with one bill at a time, beginning with your rent or mortgage. Most people only notice financial problems after the damage is already done and the money is all gone. I recommend to review your spending for just 10 minutes or maybe 5 minutes a week, every single week. And if you keep forgetting, set a recurring phone alarm on payday so that it becomes automatic over time. The issue here is that if you look at your finances once a month or once every few months, that's already too late to catch anything that's a problem. New income feels permanent when it first shows up, but then it disappears and suddenly you've upgraded your life to a level you can't sustain. So delay any lifestyle upgrades for a year after your income increases significantly. And if a full year feels impossible, at least upgrade just one category only, instead of everything at once. If extra income from your side gigs disappears faster than regular paychecks because it feels like bonus money that doesn't count and doesn't need to be saved, the first 2 weeks of a side income should go toward building your buffer or paying down your debt. And if that feels like too restrictive, split it 50-50 between financial relief and rewarding yourself from that extra windfall. Building real wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how long you could survive without any income coming in at all. You don't become a millionaire by making $1 million and spending it. You become a millionaire by saving $1 million. So build toward having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in your emergency fund. Yes, I know at the beginning I said start with just a week if you're at the very beginning of your journey, but work up to 6 months to a year. And if that sounds overwhelming, just aim for one extra week at a time until the months start stacking up. It is impossible to describe how much freedom and calm is there in your life when you know that no matter what happens, unless it's catastrophic, you can financially take care of it. If you're buying things to keep up with people who probably can't afford what they're buying either, if you're buying something because of comparison, because someone else has it, don't buy it. And if you keep getting triggered to spend, mute or unfollow the accounts that make you feel like you're falling behind. Even if you're super wealthy, there are still way more things in the world that you can literally afford to purchase. Any stress purchases feel small in the moment. A coffee here, a snack there, but they all add up to serious money by the end of the month. Comfort spending should stay under 2 hours of pay per week. So replace paid comfort with free ways to decompress. Whether it's a walk, a phone call with a friend, a hot shower instead of a $30 retail therapy trip. You keep repeating the same money mistakes because nobody ever actually taught you a better way. Spend 1 hour per week for the next 3 months learning one financial skill, whether it's budgeting or investing basics, debt payoff strategies. And if a full hour feels like too much, just watch one short YouTube video at a time and let the knowledge build up gradually. No one expects you to learn all of it in a week, but little by little, it will also affect your spending and savings mindset. You can budget endlessly and try really hard, but if the math doesn't work, it just doesn't work. If your lifestyle costs exceed 4 weeks of pay per month, you're kind of playing a losing game. Your income has to change and your expenses have to change. So start planning an income increase strategy or a location shift within the next 6 months. Just hoping things will magically improve themselves wouldn't cut it anymore. Of course you can't change things overnight, but not thinking about it at all is also not really an option. Listen, money management isn't about being perfect or never spending on anything fun. It's about reducing how fragile your situation is, creating actual breathing room, and buying yourself time to make better decisions. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, and honestly, send this to someone who needs clear rules instead of another motivation speech. Thank you.